Hello, this is Sondra Oster, Baras, bringing you a few words of Bible from the heart of Biblical Israel. This week's Torah portion is Vaera, and it's right there in the middle of the story of the enslavement of the children of Israel in Egypt. And we have the beginning of the plagues. Of course, we know there are 10 plagues that God brings upon the Egyptians until finally Pharaoh is willing to let them go. Now, in chapter 7, God speaks to Moses, and, it's already not the first time that he's telling him to go before Pharaoh, and he's giving him a sense of the story, what's going to happen. And he tells him, you're going to go to Pharaoh, and you're going to demand that he releases the nation. And he says, and I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and I will multiply my signs and my wonders throughout the land of Egypt, but Pharaoh will not listen to you. Okay, and therefore I will put my hand against Egypt. I will take out my nation Israel from the land of Egypt with great wonders, with great plagues. Okay, and then we have verse 5, a very important statement. And then Egypt will know that I am the Lord. And in that context, of course, he will then take out the children of Israel from Egypt. So we see here that one of the purposes, or one of the end goals of this whole process, the plagues that eventually force Pharaoh's hand and ensure that the nation of Israel is released, is in order to bring Egypt to understand I am God. So first of all, what is Egypt? Is Egypt the nation of Egypt? Is it the king of Egypt? Is it Pharaoh himself? And it's usually understood then when we're talking about who will know, and Egypt will know, okay, it is also the nation, but very often in an ancient society, when the king is the authority and it is the king who decides everything, it's primarily Egypt is the king. Egypt is Pharaoh. And there's almost a direct battle going on here between God on the one side and Pharaoh on the other. It is Pharaoh who's being stubborn. It is Pharaoh that needs to be convinced through all of these plagues. And ultimately, it is Pharaoh whose mind we need to change so that he understands who is the Lord. Now, we will see that already earlier on in the process, there are people within Pharaoh's court that seem to get this message. So if we go to the third plague, okay, first let's start with the first two, blood. Moses and Aaron, put the stick there over the Nile River, and it all turns to blood. And it says here in right after they do this wondrous thing and the Nile turns to blood, it says that the magicians of Egypt are able to replicate this with their magic. Okay, now, what exactly does that mean? Are they, if the Nile's already turned into blood, what have they turned into blood? I don't know, maybe they find another place with water and they turn it into blood. And it's as if to say, well, I don't know, maybe you've got a big magician, but we got big magicians too. And so there's a sort of parody there. And we see this also with the blood and also with the frogs. In both cases, after Moses and Aaron strike, the water, the land, whatever, and we have these two plagues, then the magicians do the same thing. Until we get to the third plague, which is lice. And it says that Aaron takes his hand, outstretched is the stick, he hits the land, and then suddenly there is lice everywhere, in men and animals all over the world, all over the ground, etc. And then we have in verse 14, this is chapter 8, verse 14, we say, and the magicians did the same thing with their magic to try to produce the lice, and they failed. Okay? They just couldn't, okay? They tried to accomplish the very same thing that Moses and Aaron had accomplished, and they failed. At which point they say to Pharaoh, this is the finger of God. They recognize it. So we have the original objective so that Egypt will know that I am the Lord. It seems here that the magicians have gotten there because they realize when it's something that their magic cannot accomplish, that this is something special, that God has a different kind of power, and they recognize this is the finger of the Lord. This is not just magic. But at this point, we see that Pharaoh hardens his heart and he doesn't pay attention. And of course, the saga continues until finally, next week's portion, Pharaoh will succumb and he will allow them to leave. But it's very important as we read through this whole section, these chapters in Exodus, that we recall that this is the objective, that what's actually happening here is God is fighting against Pharaoh. Now, we could say to ourselves, God on the one hand, Pharaoh on the other. Of course, God's going to win. But it's not so simple, because it takes quite a while until Pharaoh really understands that God is so all-powerful that he can never fight against him. Now, we have at the beginning the verse that we read where God says he will harden Pharaoh's heart. And there are certain times where, especially towards the end, where God actually hardens his heart. Here, where the magicians already say, this is the finger of God, God doesn't harden Pharaoh's heart. Pharaoh hardens his own heart. So you hear the stubborn individual Pharaoh that is determined to continue fighting against God. At some point, he will be defeated. The point at which God is starting to harden Pharaoh's heart is already when he has hardened his heart so many times that God just wants to move this forward. He wants to make sure he gets to that dramatic conclusion. He wants Pharaoh to really and truly recognize the finger of God, the hand of God, the power of God. And for that, it cannot just be on the basis of, okay, you got me on this one. But it has to be a far more encompassing process. And therefore, at that point, God is going to harden Pharaoh's heart to bring us to the proper conclusion so that Egypt will indeed know that the Lord is God. Have a wonderful weekend. Shabbat Shalom.
I hope you enjoyed that film. And we have lots more film content and emails and articles that I'm sure you will enjoy as well. Check out our website at CFOIC.com and subscribe to our newsletter. You can do that right from the homepage. I know you will really enjoy the content that will land in your inbox on a regular basis. Hope to see you soon.